It's 8 a.m. The early bird without a bottle won't get anywhere. No, of course not. Today we're heading out for some field work. We're going out into the field. We'll talk about a few flips. We'll talk about bigger flips as well as smaller flips, because there are a lot of questions about whether it's possible to flip with a smaller amount of capital. And we'll take a look at flips that I've already completed, as well as some freshly purchased flips for just a few dozen crowns, which are really exclusive. So let's take a look at it. I'll just have a healthy snack and we can hit the road. You've sent me a lot of questions about flipping, and the most common one I receive is about where to get capital and how to flip mini flips. Whether you need 1 million, 2, 3, or even 4. No, you don't need that. Really, the most important thing is the know-how, which you can buy from me, you can see in my videos, you can check out on Hero Hero, or buy in my book, etc. So, we're heading out, and in half an hour, we'll be at our first destination, which is Maslovice. Let's go. So here we are, the village of Maslovice, Prague East, pretty good drive. Considering it's Wednesday morning and I was expecting some heavy traffic, it's actually pretty chill, really relaxed, just like they said on The Bachelor. I wanted to show you a flip I did in just 1 week, and it was this January when I bought a quarter share of this property in the village of Maslovice, LV14, and I bought the quarter share for 400,000 crowns. A week later, I sold it to some pretty experienced investors for 1 million crowns. Yes, 1 million crowns, that's a 600,000 profit in just 1 week. For those of you following what's happening around MIS right now, this doesn't mean that flipping has stopped. On the contrary, we're flipping even more and at an even higher rate. So let's take a look at what got flipped here. By the way, regarding the company MIS, everything that's happening about it, we've put on YouTube. Unfortunately, the other side probably didn't like that, so they started reporting it and so on, GDPR and all that. Nevertheless, we've put everything on Hero Hero, so here's a link to Hero Hero. You can subscribe to Hero Hero. It's offered at a discounted price, currently just 1,000 CZK. All right, now let's move on to Maslovice LV14. When I bought it and was pricing it, I saw some potential in it. There were two options here, you know. There's about 472 square meters of land with a house that's in very poor condition. It really needs renovation, or rather demolition, but it's a building plot. And right next to it is a 1,067 square meter garden, which is also a building plot. That means it's roughly 1,500 to 1,600 square meters, a short distance from Prague. So that means the land is really quite valuable. I don't think the price will be around 8 to 10 million. The investor sees the potential in it. Maybe they'll even want to build here. So we'll see. Come take a look at the garden. They basically bought it for 4. Even if they sold it for 8, which is what I estimated its value to be, 8 million, even if they sold it for 8, that's a 100% profit for the investor. So you can buy from me, you can buy through Hero Hero, or if you purchase the Flipking course, or even if you contact me directly, or if you join the mentoring program. So there definitely are flips, there definitely are opportunities, and even opportunities to really make 100% profit or even more. So keep flipping, and we're moving on. We were originally heading to Gina, but I just remembered that I managed to secure an exclusive purchase here in this area, and it's a family house, actually 2 family houses, 1 family house, and then a plot under a family house, plus a huge plot, a huge building plot in the village of Postřižín, Odolena Voda. There are several development projects here, and there are also a few newly built family houses under construction nearby. I'll show you a map here so you can see what it looks like. It's actually in the middle of the village with the main road on one side. This property has huge potential. Currently, Roma people live there, and it's in poor condition. The houses are in a dilapidated state. So far, I haven't enforced anything there, and I bought it 5 years ago, which means in 2020. Since then, I've had 3 offers. One was kind of ridiculous, around 1 million, and then 2.5 and 3 million. And I bought 1/3 for 350,000. I just want to point out here that properties nobody wants can also be found in areas with great potential. For example, this is the case with Postrijin here. The prices there are extremely high and it's possible to build there. You could build, I don't know, 10, 15, maybe 20 houses there. Or you could divide it into 4 plots. There is a road nearby, but it's actually a little further away, and houses could easily be built there. There could be a billboard there. There could be a parking lot, maybe even some kind of commercial building could be put there, so we'll definitely go take a look at it. Maybe we'll even catch someone there, although I saw that the house is boarded up and in bad shape. We'll also check whether they're actually using the whole property, because then we could potentially claim unjust enrichment for that 1/3 share. We talk about what unjust enrichment is in every other video. Unjust enrichment is when someone overuses the property and also overuses your share. That means you can demand 1/3 of the usual rent from them. Since this is a huge plot in a good location, the rent could be quite high. So let's take a look. It's pretty deep. There's a road on one side, but the property hasn't been sold yet. And in my opinion, it has huge potential. It's possible that in one of the next videos, I'll be filming how I sold that 1/3 for, say, 5 million. But for now, I'm holding on to it. I'm still holding it, and we'll see what comes of it. Let's take a look. Oh, there's no doorbell here. We won't be able to ring. There's no doorbell here. It's clear that someone is living in this house on the property. Unfortunately, we don't have a doorbell, so we'll just do a local inspection, record some video, take photos to show that someone is using it, and then we'll send a notice in some way. We'll send it, and if they don't respond, we'll also send a pre-litigation notice and drop a note in the mailbox asking them to contact us at the phone numbers provided, whether they're interested in selling, whether they're using the whole property, whether they're overusing it, and if they're not interested, so that we can come to some agreement and at least have them pay part of the rent. Because actually, as I can see here, these are 2 houses. It's clear that someone is living here. There are cars parked. We'll try to claim unjust enrichment so that they at least pay some minimal rent. So let's go and... In the front part, there are 2 houses that are clearly meant for renovation. Of course, they're on building plots. And behind that, there's a garden, which is also a building plot, about 5,000 square meters. You could easily do a development project there. Hello, is anyone here? Good afternoon. Can I talk to you just for a moment? Thank you. Good afternoon. I came to have a chat with you, if that's all right. I'm a co-owner of 1/3 here. Hello, good afternoon. Ponovarenko, good afternoon. Good afternoon. What do you have?
I'm here to have a chat. I've had 1/3 here for about 5 years now, so I wanted to ask, and you probably live here, right? So you probably don't want to sell, even if I bought the other shares. And next door, does someone live there? Also.
Yeah, and they don't want to sell either. And what if we made the garden a little longer? You say here that you have the deal, well, 1/3. No, but what if I kept a piece of the garden in the back and you kept this part? Would that work? Or do you use it or do you not use it? Not at all, right? Because I know that part over there is for building. And you have more co-owners here, right? There are some that belong to Gabor here. So do you think that would work, yeah? Then I would carefully divide it with the assistance of a surveyor. You would keep this part and I would keep this portion, while I would keep the remainder.
Sure.
Yeah? Like that. And you are Mr. Gabor Alexander?
Yes, yes, yes. When I was building the house, you weren't here.
No, but I did buy it.
You bought it, but, you know, well, it was actually already with me.
What do you mean with you? I didn't buy you. I mean, you're a nice guy. Yeah, funny. You're pretty smart, but I didn't buy it with you included.
As an investment, as a long-term strategy for the future. But you knew there were more plots here.
Yeah, that's right.
You went into it knowing that...
Yeah, I specialize in these shares.
Do you realize there are still some other owners here, so you also have to take into account whether there's a house here that I built.
Well?
Whether it's standing on your land because of your acquisition. No, on the edge of the property.
But you're the only one using it.
That's your problem.
No, that's your problem. Because if you're using something that isn't yours, then you should be paying for it. Yeah, that's the fundamental issue.
Except that this house was already standing here, I think, when you were off somewhere, you know?
Well, that's true.
So you can manipulate me by saying, I have a house here. This house was already here a long time ago, you know?
That's true. I can't have your house torn down, but you should be paying because the house is yours, and you should be paying me for the part of the land it's standing on because that land is mine. So in that case, you should have less land. Sorry?
You have less land, though.
How less? 1/3. I have 1/3 there.
You have 1/3, but no more. Here I also have 1/3. Well, you can't have 1/3 here, can I? If you have it there, you can't have it here.
You know, I have it over the whole thing. Even under those houses, except for this house. That one is yours, but the land underneath it, that's building plot 54. I have 1/3 of that too. That means that since there's a house standing there, you should pay for that house. So you have 1/3 there, 1/3 here, there. Yeah. Nothing there, nothing here, nothing there. What do you mean, nothing?
Well, the way you're talking, I guess so.
No, you have something there too?
Come on, what do I notice? Won't you tell me?
Well, I have a share there if we have a car.
And I have a share that's worth nothing.
You have it here too. Well, damn it. And if we have together, you have a third of the garden over there. No. And then you want a third here as well? No, I wanted your share there, and here I would give you my part, because since I have a third here, you have to pay me a third of the rent. It's like if we owned a car together, you drove the car, I paid for it, and got nothing out of it.
I'm actually the owner.
So am I.
I bought it
So did I.
with my parents.
Me too.
And you bought 1/3.
So,
Well, you have that 1/3. What more do you want?
I want to use it.
Well then, use it.
Can I use it?
I'm not stopping you,
Can I use it?
but you're using it?
And will you give me the keys to the house and the gate?
Definitely not.
So how am I supposed to use it then? That's my house, but how am I supposed to use it?
Man, we're just arguing about nothing, aren't we?
No, no, no.
You want both here and there?
And now I have both here and there.
You know what? Then you should build the house over there.
And why?
Well, so this plot here.
No, I want that plot over there, because I have this plot too.
Right? Swap. Something else.
So you really want to leave it up to the court? I wouldn't recommend it. I'm actually really good at this. I really don't want to go to court. But if you want to, then we'll go to court. No, I wanted to exchange your share of the garden for my share here, in these two houses. That's what I wanted to exchange. You see, you'll have this place, I won't be here anymore, and I'll have that plot over there. We'll just swap our shares. I don't want everything, like having both here and over there. I just wanted to exchange the garden you have there, the one you don't use, for the share I have here. That's fair, isn't it? It seems fair to me.
How exactly do you want it? Just let me know whenever you're ready.
Well, I bought something. So why didn't you buy it for my brother for 350,000?
Because I didn't even know about it. You guys pulled a fast one on me.
Nobody pulled a fast one.
Yes, you did.
And now my brother says you don't want to buy it? I didn't send that, he sent it now.
And you know, my brother was actually the one who sent it. So let me think. What exactly did I end up sending then after all?
And why would I send it? I have no obligation to deal with the right of first refusal. I was a buyer. Someone comes to me, gives me the money, and I buy it.
No, you did. You really did. You absolutely did.
I have no obligation. I'm an investor, I have money, so I buy it and it's mine. And that's property rights. And you are interfering with my property rights. You have a house on a piece of my land and over there as well. I want to come to an understanding with you, to make an agreement. If you want to go to court, we can go to court. I am a hot mess in court. But I don't want to go to court. I think a reasonable agreement is better. If you're not using the garden, then you give me your share. And if you transfer your share of the garden to me, I'll transfer this part to you. Right? You said ass and ass.
Well, then you'll confirm the truth. That's mine. That's mine.
I have a share in all of this, except for that house. I have everything. And since you also have a share in it, that's why I'm talking to you. But a co-ownership share means you have co-ownership, but you use it by yourself. Plus, there are other people here as well.
Look, you didn't say anything for a long time.
Yes.
You didn't do anything about it. Right. And now all of a sudden you come and you want this and that over there. I'm the owner.
So am I.
You are, without a doubt, the owner of the garden.
And of this too.
And of this, you can't be the owner of this.
Am I?
I'm the owner.
So am I. I'll show you on the land registry. Take a look. So you don't want to come to an agreement?
No.
That's the first time. You don't want to come to an agreement. That's the second time. You don't want to come to an agreement.
It can't work the way you're talking.
Exchanging the garden for my share here? That's not possible, is it?
You take your share.
Now I have my share.
Leave it alone.
I'll leave you alone.
Look, I have 1/3 of the garden and 1/3 of the house.
Yes.
I have that too?
Yes, you do.
So what now? What do you want to give me?
But you're using the whole thing. You're using the entire property after all. I don't use anything.
But I've been the buyer here from the beginning, since 70. And it doesn't matter whether you were here from the start or the end.
If someone comes now and buys half the house, you'll just tell them, I don't care, I've been here since 70.
But he can't throw me out of my half, because that's mine.
He can't, but you have to pay him for using it.
But he is not all yours. The land under the house is co-owned, that I moved into the house.
But you don't own the whole thing.
Leather. You're registered somewhere that...
The land that is located under the house is indeed jointly co-owned by all. So we won't come to an agreement.
Just going in circles here about something that honestly just doesn't seem to add up at all. Not even a little bit.
Why wouldn't it add up?
So you want to have the final say on everything?
And of course, I'm a businessman.
And what do you want from me exactly?
To come to an agreement with you.
I don't have a right to what I'm entitled to.
You already have rights. You're living here, aren't you? Are you already using it?
So because I'm using it, I've used it, I can just go to hell. Is that it? No one's kicking you out. I just want to use my co-ownership share. So then go ahead and claim it.
How do I claim it?
For 1/3 of the garden, 1/3 of the house. No. What more do you want?
So can I use it?
Yes, you can.
How if you won't give me the keys?
What are you talking about? You even have that on your side.
I don't have the keys to that, but I also have 1/3 of this house, right? I can, right? So you'll give me the keys, right?
Here's the counter, right? Yes, that one over there, 4.5, that one.
Yeah? Yeah? And what are we going to do with this land here?
Well, but I also have land here. You can't be here.
Excuse me?
It won't work here
Why not?
because you have it over there.
I have the same share of this land as you do. I have the same 1/3 share of the land here as you do. And you use the whole thing and I can't use it at all. I understand that. I get it. That's why I'm saying you use it here. So let's make an agreement. Give me 1/3 of your garden over there and I'll give you 1/3 of mine here.
So let's say you bought 1/3 and I'll give you another 1/3 from me.
But I'll give you my share from this here.
That
Isn't your property. I bought it. I paid for it. That was in fact your brother's property because it wasn't your property. It was actually your brother's property.
No, well, what I actually bought just now,
But that's not in the back. The only thing you actually own yourself is this house, which partly stands on my land.
are you sure about the whole situation?
I'm saying you want to go for it, right? That's it. Really, truly, absolutely. No, look, it's not about being sneaky. That garden is going to be worth a lot. But before I finish it, before I transfer it with those English people, before the guardianship court gets involved, it could take a year, 2, 3, and they might not even sell it to me, but I'll have the majority share. That's what matters to me. And it's worth it for me to give you another 500 square meters from the garden here, so you have a garden with your house. And it's still worth it for me because I'll still have 4,500 left. And it's still a good deal for me and a good deal for you. All right then, so we've agreed. Take care. Yes, goodbye. Take care, goodbye. All right then, I guess we've come to an agreement here and I have a new 6 girl. I'd like to show her off. We've reached the end of today's episode. Things went a bit off script. We were supposed to go see more properties, more flips, but we got stuck here in post-vision. Honestly, I'm glad because we managed to catch the owner here and had a great 40-minute conversation about negotiating. At first, everything was fine. Then the gentleman started accusing us of something. Then things got a bit aggressive. And then he called me sly, a sly guy, right? And the fans and in the end, we managed to come to an agreement. It's always important to try to give people an option. Sometimes they don't even know that option exists. So here, we agreed that we'd call in Giudetto, that we'd work something out. He's gonna think it over. He doesn't really have any other option. It took me a long time to explain it to him. That I have the same share as he does, and he's overusing it. He just couldn't understand it. I think that's a fundamental issue with these people. They can't grasp that co-ownership doesn't mean you own 1/3 and get to use the whole thing. It's about explaining that if you have a co-ownership share, you have to resolve it. He accused me saying he's had it since the 70s and so on and so forth. For a moment, they were a bit aggressive, but I understand that because maybe he didn't understand something. He felt like he was going to lose part of his property and so on. In any case, we managed to come to an agreement, and in a month, maybe in a month and a half, I'll call him, we'll come over here and try to talk about what and how to proceed. I even offered him more than he was asking. With some people, it makes them feel like you're trying to rip them off somehow. But I think in the end, it could turn out to be a win-win situation because he'll have those 2 houses with a garden. I'll have a building plot in the back over 4,000 square meters, which I think is worth around 8 to 10 million. I would have 2/3 of it. Of course, it also came up that I bought it for 350,000, which probably annoyed them. There was even some talk about lawsuits. I asked him twice if he wanted to go to court. I said I don't want to go to court, but if it's necessary, then we will. My opinion is that it's best to come to an agreement. If that's not possible, then of course, yes, you go to court. But it's always best to reach an agreement. And that's what flipping is about too.